Thank you for being here today. You are very welcome. I hope you can feel the loving intention that is flowing through all the work that I'm doing. I've had lots of feedback and lots of questions. Hopefully I can find the time to do enough videos to reply to everybody. The most pressing question that I felt was asked to me was by Liz, and she was asking how do we navigate really our way through into the new world, I suppose, the new world. That's what she was asking. How do we navigate our way into the new world? The way that I've done it is through lots of meditation, because basically the vibration of consciousness of all those on the earth plane, and not just on the earth plane, those in the wider universe, we are all raising our vibration. And I feel that those of us on earth really have, I suppose in a way, a big responsibility to be making sure that we are doing our best to keep our consciousness high, keep our vibration high. So through meditation, that's the way to do it. It's not to, you don't have to sit in meditation for hours and hours. You know, that's what puts a lot of people off, thinking that they have to put so much time into it. And I'm very aware that earthly time, you know, there's no such thing as time, but earthly time, it's very hard to forge the time to be able to put the time and effort in. So intention is very important. So sometimes I might have 40 minutes where I think, right, great, I can go and do a meditation, and I'll sit for 40 minutes. And because I'm so active and so busy with doing things, it takes ages for my chatter to calm down, and it's just to respect, let the chatter come, let it go. So out of 40 minutes, I might only grab 2 or 3 minutes of where I've actually been able to find that stillness within myself. But those two or 3 minutes are really important, because they're raising our consciousness, our awareness. And observation. So when I began to observe myself, and I began to see actually that we are not a human being. So when we begin to observe ourselves as a spiritual being having a human experience, that's where we can raise our consciousness. And it's within that observation and the connection to our higher knowing, that is where the navigation becomes easier, I suppose, because we begin to understand it. So it's don't be over analyzing. So it's very easy that when you become an observer, it's very easy to begin to analyze. So I think if we begin to analyze it, we're putting thought energy into it, and we don't want to think. We want to sort of be sensing our way through life, because, well, actually, I believe that for me, the way that I have observed and differentiated between the human side of me and my soul, our higher knowing, which who knows everything. You know, we do know everything on a higher level. We just can't bring all of that in, because I always think if we brought all of the knowledge that our higher knowing has that we can tap into, we'd fry our brains. So the way that I differentiate and tell the difference between my humanness and my soul is, I had a little mantra that I did many years ago, where I would say to myself, don't think it, feel it, so that I could trust the my senses, so the way that I connect with my higher knowing and my spirit guides and those from the outer beings. So I do speak to outer beings, and the way that I connect is very different from the way that a thought comes in as a brain thought. So it's a sense. So I used to say to myself, sense it, don't think it. Don't think it, feel it. Don't think it, feel it. And that really was what I would say to myself when I was teaching myself to trust that source. So not over analyzing, because when we begin to analyze it, we're going into thoughts, and the thoughts is the human side. So it's to go with the sense, trusting your intuition, dropping into the heart space. And that's the other thing that we need to do as we navigate our way into the new world, is to keep bringing ourselves into our heart space, because that is dropping into love. That's the way that we will, I suppose, raise the vibration, because it's all about raising our vibration. So if we're resisting against it and staying in patterns that we repeat in our life, then we will get stuck. So it's to keep dropping back into the heart space to raise that vibration. And again, meditation. So if you can do a meditation where you drop into your heart space. Actually, this morning, I started my morning thinking, I didn't know what meditation I wanted to do. And I thought, I'm going to go to my own YouTube channel, because there's some that I put on there years ago and I've only started putting them again now. And I did the one, I can't remember what it was. It had daisies on the front, and I did that, and it took me into my heart space, and that was really lovely, actually. So yeah, it's the one with the daisies on the picture if you want to do it. I can't remember what it was, but that was really lovely, just to drop back into the heart space, because everything comes through from here. We need to be working on having the third eye open, but dropping back into the heart space. So the more that, and you can do that by touching. So where we touch on the body, that's where our awareness goes. So if we're stuck in overthinking, lots of us will be like, what do I need to do to break these patterns, to move me forwards into this new way of being? Sit with your hands on your heart space and just observe your breath. That's such a simple meditation to do, just to get into your heart space. Just sit for a moment, feel the peace, be aware of your breath, and take yourself within here, just to feel the loving being that you are. Every single one of us is a loving being. We've come from love. It's just that we are here having a human experience. So back to observation, it's observing. So when you can observe, if you've been, lots of us talk about triggers, and those are the habits that we become. Something can trigger us into that habit, the habit that who we think we are on a human level. So it's observing all of those habits that we become and breaking them, and through observation. I hope that makes sense to you all. If not, get in touch of where I've done it myself, doing this through lots of healing, lots of Reiki, lots of crystals, so carrying crystals. I think I'm sort of getting sidetracked a little bit here, but it's to be dropping back into your heart, being aware of the human thoughts and listening to your guidance that comes through the heart, that comes through the gut. And the more you do this, the more you observe, the more that you realize that you are the creator of your life. Life doesn't just happen. We've been taught to be in fear for many, many years. We've all been taught to be afraid. And it's through fear that those who have wanted to rule us, to keep us stuck, to stop us from raising our consciousness, they've kept us in fear. So stop watching the news. I say to everybody, don't watch the news. You can, if you want to know what's going on in the world with news, then go and read it. Try not to view it, because when you view it, they've got all the dramatic music, and there's things. I like to know what's going on in the world, to know where to send love and light, and it's not to be blinkered and think, oh, I don't want to know what's going on, but try to do it in a way of where you are choosing what you are reading or what you are believing. Try not to listen to it as a program, because it puts you in fear. I recently realised that even I had a weather report that would always come up on my phone. Anybody that knows me knows I'm obsessed with my washing. So it was about, I would have this where it would tell me what the weather was going to be. And I was aware one day that they were even putting fear into me through the weather. It's going to be high winds, strong winds, flooding, be afraid. And I thought, right, need to take that off my phone so I don't have the weather report now. If there's a day where I think, oh, I'm going to get the washing done, then I'll go and have a look. I'll go and have a look rather than it telling me with this weather report. So it's making choices to be in control of what you're bringing into your awareness. So be in control of your thoughts. Takes a lot of doing. Like I say, when we get triggered back into a pattern, and then we are a product of patterns, and it can be this lifetime or another lifetime. So what do I mean by patterns? So take, for instance, I think I came into this lifetime really thinking that I was a very bad person. I had to break those patterns. I had to learn to like who I am. And there wasn't any part of myself that I liked, inside or out. And the affirmations, I wrote a blog that's on my website actually about what I did. Of just every day I did an affirmation until I believed in myself. And now I can give myself a hug, which I do, give myself a hug and say, God, I really love who you are, Rach. So it's breaking those patterns, the patterns of belief on a human level, and bringing ourselves back into our knowing, our higher being, our higher selves. So that's really sort of embracing the shadow side of us. So it's accepting that we have that shadow side. We all have parts of us that we're not proud of, but it's looking at them, and it's allowing ourselves to learn from it, teach that side of ourselves. I've had I had a side of me that has always been very, I suppose, spiteful. My grandmother used to say to me, you've got a vinegary tongue. And I would always know that I would say that when I was hurting within. This is human nature. We try to hurt those that are the nearest to us and that are closest to us. So that's my shadow side. And at times, yeah, she is there. She does rear her ugly head. And I have to just, when I observe and I notice and I think, oh, okay, I've done it again. But it's to be teaching that side of me. It's like an acceptance rather than, so when I first observed it, I'd be really beating myself up about it, thinking you're a bad person. How can you be doing all of this spiritual work when you can actually do that to somebody else? And that you can, when you look back and you observe, you can see that, oh gosh, they felt very deflated because of what I said. So it's to be working on that, knowing that you're not meaning to do it. It's the shadow side. So that's another part of navigating through. And probably the other side of things is that I've had to learn. We are all warriors. We all have those fights. So it's to be a warrior, not a fighter. And you'll probably say that that's the same thing. I don't see it as being the same thing. I've had to learn to know when to advance forwards, when to change a part of me, and when to just sit with it and wait for the human side to catch up with the spiritual side. So on a human level, when we've got a pattern, if we've been hurt many times and it's a pattern that we get in, through that hurt we're then lashing out at someone else and hurting them, that's being a fighter. But it's listen to the warrior within, of to sit, to know how to heal that part within yourself. So when you heal that part on a human level, eventually you'll heal that part of you that's always wanting to lash out. Again, I hope that makes sense. It's through lots of healing, and I am working with lots and lots of people on a one-to-one level. It's got to a stage, because I've been doing my work for over 20 years, there's a lot of people that are coming to me, so I'm very aware that I'm keeping people waiting at the moment. I think I'm fully booked now going into September, but Reiki and crystals, raising your vibration with crystals, that's helped me no end. You might want to sing, you might want to chant, anything that you feel is lifting your vibration. Going for a walk in nature. We can all get out in nature. You know, people say to me, oh, I live in the city, I can't. You can. There's lots of nature that you can find anywhere. You know, most cities have a green space that you can go to. Lots of cities, they'll have trees along the pavements. You know, it's to just go and stand under one of the trees. I go and hug the trees. Or it's just to go outside and take your shoes and socks off and stand on the nearest part of grass. It's to be grounding yourself, but being in nature. So anything that raises your vibration, being in nature, holding a crystal, doing a meditation, chanting, sound. So vibration, and lifting it. Okay, so I really hope that's helped you, Liz, to help and to make a little bit more sense. I'll probably touch on this a little bit more, but that's really a map of how to navigate through. Okay, take care. Love and light.